They thought I would break. They thought ambition was ugly for a woman like me. But I am Helena Montez, 35 years old, senior bank executive, and the quiet storm no one saw coming. I remember when the air around my parents' home felt heavy with judgment, the bitter scent of burnt coffee in the kitchen, the clipped tone in my father's voice as he told me my place was not in corner offices and late-night negotiations. My mother's silence hurt worse than his words. She would look away when I spoke of my plans, as if my drive was something shameful that would spoil me. I grew up with nothing but grit and the ability to turn numbers into opportunity, secretly mapping out my rise while working 3 jobs and falling asleep with stock reports under my pillow. The day I left for the city, I carried only one suitcase, a worn leather notebook, and a promise. I would make something so vast they could never ignore me. The years at the bank sharpened me. Every deal was a chess match, every handshake a test. I moved through glass-walled offices in silk blouses, yet inside I burned hot with a hunger they did not see. I hid my investments like a gambler hides his last ace, turning modest bonuses into silent streams of wealth. And while my parents believed I was still just their stubborn daughter working too hard for small victories, I was becoming someone they could never belittle again. The fracture happened during a holiday dinner. My father, with his fork paused between bites, declared they had told the community I was fine, but warned their neighbors that chasing money would leave me alone and bitter. Something inside me stilled. I smiled, but it was the kind of smile that hides an entire war. I stopped trying to win their approval that night. And in that space, once filled with longing for their praise, I planted my most strategic move yet. Over the next 2 years, I dismantled my dependence on the bank's title. I built partnerships, bought bonds in silence, and positioned myself to hit a number that would change my name in financial circles forever. It was not an explosion. It was a quiet takeover. One morning, without fanfare, I executed a deal so clean that I became majority owner in a rising global finance group. I left the bank 2 weeks later, not because I was defeated, but because I had leveled up beyond their walls. Word traveled back to my parents before I reached them. When they called, I could hear it, my mother's voice trembling, my father's rehearsed warmth, a desperate eagerness. They wanted to meet and ask for guidance in their own affairs. Guidance from me. I should have felt vindicated, but the truth was sharper. In their eyes, I had finally become useful. Justice was not in giving them what they asked. It was in showing them what I had become without them. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. We met in a cafe, the clink of porcelain and hiss of steaming milk filling the air. My mother reached for my hand, the same hand she had ignored when I was 19 and begging for her trust to take a night training shift at the bank. My father spoke of investments, of legacy, pretending he had always believed I would achieve this. I listened, my nails tapping the cup in a steady rhythm, letting him finish before I leaned forward. My words were calm, precise. I told them their earlier abandonment had forged me, that every time they doubted me, I bought another share, closed another deal, widened another gap they could not cross. And now, while I wished them well, my counsel was not for sale, not even to family. There was a flicker in my mother's eyes, some mix of regret and respect, but my father's jaw tightened. I stood, smoothed my blazer, and left them with the check. Outside, the wind rushed against my face, cool and clean like the breath of a world that had finally given me my own space. The victory was not loud. It was cold, precise, and permanent. I realized I no longer needed their validation because I had built something they could neither own nor understand. And perhaps that was the truest justice, a life unshaken by the ones who tried to break me. My wealth was hidden no longer, but the path to it was mine alone, carved by strategy. sharpened by betrayal and sealed with independence. On nights when the city sleeps, I remember that girl with a suitcase and a notebook. I would tell her this: they will doubt you, they will leave you, and someday they will ask to return. And you will choose a future that does not require their love. That choice, more than the money, is what makes you free. Follow my story because it is far from over, and the next move will be bigger than anything they ever imagined.